It's the show all about our first state, Delaware. Highlighting all sorts of events, stories, current news, and exciting people. With your hosts, Patricia D. Harris and Richard F. Blackwell. Welcome to View from the 302.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to View from the 302. I'm Richard Blackwell.
And I am Patricia D. Harris, and welcome to our program that's all about our first state, Delaware.
That's right. On the first Wednesday of every month, Patricia and I will bring you up-to-date news and exciting events from communities in our first state.
And we will also be spotlighting those wonderful folks who are doing their part in keeping Delaware moving each and every day.
That's right. So, Patricia, tell us, who will you be visiting with today?
Richard, I am so excited to have Madison Washington. She is a high school graduate of Calloway High School, School of the Arts, actually. And so she was one of the seniors that has been affected by COVID-19. So Richard, who are you interviewing today?
Well, Patricia, today I will be visiting with Dr. Charlette Fletcher from First Choice Chiropractic, located in Newcastle, Delaware.
Awesome. I'm eager to hear how her business stayed afloat during COVID-19. And later on in our program, Richard and I will have some updated information as it pertains to COVID-19 and our first state, Delaware, the reopening of our schools and moving into phase 3.
So stay tuned, everyone. Patricia will be right back with her special guest, Madison Washington.
You are watching View from the 302.
What is always heartbreaking to me is to have somebody call me at 38 weeks saying, I don't want to be induced. They're going to induce me next week. They did an ultrasound and they think the baby weighs 10 pounds and they wanted to get the baby out before, because if it keeps on growing like this, by the time I'm 40 weeks, it's going to weigh 12 pounds. And I just want to let things happen that are going to happen. But they told me, you know, you don't want to it's going to be hard to get a 12-pound baby out without having something go wrong with the baby. And you don't want something to go wrong with the baby. And then they say the words that we all need to tape and file a complaint with the hospital. Your baby could die. And that card is played a lot in hospitals.
Welcome to View from the 302. I am your co-host, Patricia Harris, and I am so excited to have with me today high school senior Madison Washington. Madison, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I am wonderful, thank you. I am so excited to have you with me today, and I'm loving that you got your graduation cap on, and I think your t-shirt says Class of 2020. Yes, so exciting. And as I think about this time, Madison, as I think about the last 4 months, if there's one group of individuals that COVID-19 has affected the most, I would have to say it was our high school seniors. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I definitely would agree.
Okay. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about that, because this is a time in your life, a time where many before you have been able to look forward to and to experience in the traditional way, you know, graduation, being able to walk across the stage, receive your diploma, stands packed with family and friends. But this has been different for you guys, right? And so I want to hear a little bit from you. How has this affected your senior year?
So, senior year was off to a great start. We are the oldest group in the building. So it's like, oh yeah, we run this
Mhm.
type of feeling. And we all were looking forward to that big day, Oh
Mhm.
yeah, it's like 200 some days until
Mhm.
graduation. Like it's gonna be so much fun. And then in March, it kind of took us by surprise. We started hearing about Corona and everything. We were like, oh yeah, it's not really gonna hit us like that.
Mhm.
But then March 16th, it kind of, swept us off our feet and
Mhm.
canceled our whole senior year. So that was very devastating to me. So yeah.
Yeah. It took, I think it took all of us by surprise,
Yeah.
nothing that we could have never imagined this, and my heart goes out to you see the seniors, because this is such a special time. And so because you weren't able to celebrate like many before you have, how did you celebrate graduating and accomplishing all that you have accomplished? What did you do, and what did your family and friends do to help you celebrate that?
So my school, we were able to do a virtual graduation. It wasn't something that we suggested as a student body, but we have to understand that if you give one school this opportunity, you have to give other schools in that district. So I kind of did understand it on that point, but as a senior, I'm just like, I just want to walk across the stage.
Right.
So
Rightfully so. Hmm.
exactly. So I still was able to walk across the stage. I sang the national anthem,
Oh,
got up out of there.
exciting.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Got up out of there, and then I was like, you know what? I'll do something for myself.
Mhm.
So my parents and I, we put together a virtual, not a virtual, sorry. We
Mhm.
put together a drive-by ceremony for me, where all like my family and friends were able to come and celebrate, my accomplishments and everything.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that there was some form of celebration, because that's very important. And
Yeah.
so there are some other things too that you've experienced during your senior year, or maybe haven't experienced. So we talk about prom. You're an athlete, talking about sports. Share with us how COVID has affected those areas in your life as well.
Okay, so like you already know, I snapped last year for
Yes,
prom.
you did.
So
You look beautiful.
thank you. So me and my date, we weren't really worried about this year. And we didn't do anything in place of prom because we weren't really, that obsessed with it.
Okay.
For us, it was more so graduation, like any
Mhm.
other senior. But on the other side, like being an athlete and everything, my top sport is softball. That is my 100% most passionate sport I am
Mhm.
like passionate about. Um, and then I also threw shot put.
Okay.
So throwing shot put, I was at my last practice the day they were like, oh yeah, we may not come back to school next week. So I was like, I'm gonna come this next week, and we ended up not. So we had to
Mhm.
take our shot puts and our discuses, we had to take them home. But we never got to use them, so we had to return them to the school because all of our tournaments against do
Were canceled.
yeah.
Okay.
So then for softball, it kind of, hit hard because our season was canceled off the bat because of how many people usually come out to our games.
Mhm.
I play travel softball, so I usually do travel from Pennsylvania to Maryland to Virginia to play softball.
Okay.
Um, and so the rules and regulations kind of changed for the game once they started allowing us to play again.
Mhm.
So right now it's softball season and some of my teammates are out there playing, but due to what my parents believe in, how things are working out, I will not be playing.
Okay.
Um, so it's just like, it's kind of hitting hard, but
Yeah.
I'm still here supporting my girls. So yeah.
Okay. And so you touched briefly on rules and regulations. Can you share with us a little bit what has changed?
Yeah. So,
Mm.
so I'm a base runner.
Okay.
Um, and base running is one of my favorite parts of softball.
Mhm.
And so we're no longer allowed to steal from first to second, or
Okay.
steal from second to third to home, anything.
Yeah.
Base- Stealing bases is no longer allowed because of how close the third baseman, second baseman, shortstop, and the first baseman have to get to you.
Mhm.
In order to call you out, they have to tag you with the ball, or it has to be a force.
Yeah.
So I was kind of just like, well, if I can't base run,
Mhm.
what can I do? So I was like, okay. So then they took the umpire from standing in back of the batter's plate to standing behind the pitcher's mound. And it's kind of just like, so you're calling like iffy, like you don't really know for sure if that was a strike, if that was a ball. And I'm just like, okay, so that's a downside. And then the most important part to me was that we weren't allowed to be in the dugout anymore. Looking forward to being in the dugout all day, you know, playing 5 games back to back with your girls is something you look forward to. Like, it's like, win or lose, I really could care less, because the team of girls I'm playing with is just like, it's crazy. Like the bonds that you make, the relationships that our parents make, it's just like, none of us can be together right now because of these new rules and regulations. And that kind of is a bummer, because that's where the most important gems from the game come from, you know?
I appreciate you sharing that with me and with our audience. You know, as we watch the news and we're hearing about the professional sports and whether or not they're going to start back up. And I believe the NBA is starting up July 31st, if I'm not mistaken. No fans in the stand. But what you just shared, you know, I haven't heard that. The umpire behind the pitcher, and, you know, so I'm trying to imagine the distance between the pitcher and the umpire. You know, if he's going to be behind the pitcher, why couldn't he be behind the catcher? You know, and then to be able to see whether or not it is a ball or a strike from that distance. Is, you know, so, and I mean, I know that we are trying to, or they are trying to figure out the best way to handle this. This wasn't anything any of us could expect it. We weren't prepared for it. And so as much as some of the things just don't make sense, we have to understand that they're trying to do what's best. We get that. And so when we could sit here and we could talk about, you know, all the negative that has come out of COVID, right? And what we couldn't do and all that. But if I can be honest, you know, even with me personally, there has been some good things that have come out of COVID. So as a high school senior, as a college freshman, share with me if you could share 2 positive things that have come out of COVID for you, what would those be?
I would say, you know, spending time with my family over this time. Like, you know, my great grandmother, she just turned 98. Like, she been living on this earth for a long minute. You know? So it's like, dang, like, I can learn a lot from you right now. Like, the time I don't usually have when everything is normal. It's like, I have that time, so I want to talk to you. You know, I want to be up under your arm, but I can't. You know, so it's just like, I go to my great grandmother's house and my grandmother's house every Saturday, and we just sit outside and we talk, we eat dinner, and it's stuff that I really look forward to, because those people are the wisest people for me. And just being able to spend time with my family in general is something I don't take for granted. So I think that's one positive thing, you know, being around family more so. And then I guess my second positive thing is, like, I'm just alive, like being alive in this time, you know, because first it started off, it's affecting older people. Now it's affecting African Americans, and now it's affecting my demographic of children, you know. So like, it's like, who's really next, you know? It's so many things that come out every day about COVID, but I'm just like, man, I'm just, you know, I'm alive and I don't have it. So I'm glad, like, I'm glad.
Awesome. And so thank you for sharing that. And something you said about your great grandmother, 98 years old. And, you know, I'm sure there's so much she could share with you. Has she shared with you anything that comes close to what we're experiencing now? Like, has there anything that she experienced that she could kind of relate to going through what we're going through right now?
Yeah. So, you know, her age already says how long she's been around. You know, she's seen so much. And so this is something that I kind of been thinking about my whole life. My great grandmother used to be a servant, and she used to clean people's houses.
Mm.
So this lady, her name is Miss Hicks, love her, rest in peace. She was my great grandmother's best friend.
Okay.
That was the lady's house who she cleaned, and I'm
Okay.
telling you, those two were inseparable.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Hicks, even though my great grandmother was her house servant, she literally took her everywhere. They've been to Aruba, they've been to the Caribbean, they've been to Europe. Like, they were best friends. And I think that my great grandmother sharing that relationship that she had with someone who people would think was superior to her,
Yeah.
really showed me, like, everything that's going on right now, love and kindness and compassion and just being human is very important.
Yes, it is.
So for her birthday, Miss Hicks's children and their children's children came down to her house, and they did a big celebration for her. They had the fire engine come through and everything, and I was like, it's really crazy, because when I was younger, I'm like, oh, they had my great grandmother as a slave, and it was never like that.
Right.
And so, like, they all respect her. Their children call her Miss Martin, and I was just like, this is blowing my mind.
Yes.
Just seeing the love, like, I think that's the most important part that my great grandmother has taught me. Like, always find the love, because love can always drive out hate.
Yes.
So yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, Madison. That is a beautiful, beautiful story, especially, and to hear it during this time, because not only are we going through COVID, we have the brutality from, our police, we have, our Black and brown men and women losing their lives. And to hear your grandmother share that story is something that we all can learn from today, And so thank you for sharing that. And what I would like for you to do right now, you've already dropped so many pearls. You've already shared so many pearls. And I appreciate that. And I just want you to share with our young adults, share with our seniors, share with our, college freshmen, because this is a tough time. We definitely, it is a tough time, and we can do our best to look at all the positive in it. But I want you to share with your generation and just drop a few more pearls on them to help them keep going, to encourage them. And so just look right into your camera, speak directly to our audience, speak directly to your generation, and just drop a few more pearls on them.
Okay. So I think my last two pearls to my generation, I would definitely say, if there's a risk, if there's an opportunity that you grab hold of, take it. Take that opportunity, walk through that door. Once you walk through one door, 2 other doors may close, but guess what? 3 more doors will open. I promise you that. Like, I'm a very spiritual person, so I know that God works in very mysterious ways. So if he ever puts a risk, opportunity, anything in front of you, take it. Because I could say, us as a senior class, us as a class of 2020, we had opportunities that we could have taken, but we didn't, because we thought that better opportunities were going to come. So just take that. And then my very last one will be, stay humble and pray. Even if you don't believe in God, it's cool. I'm not really gonna force it on you, but I'm just saying, reading God's word in these days and in this time is really coming to pass. Everything that God has been saying that would happen, is starting to happen, and it's kind of, unsettling. But when you know that the man that you serve is the greatest man ever, then you really have nothing to worry about. So as long as you are humble and that you pray, everything will be cool.
Right.
You
So
have a destined
pearls. Your 2 pearls. Go for it. If a door opens up, have the confidence to walk through it and to stay humble.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madison.
Yeah, no problem.
I so appreciated this interview. I wish you all the best when you go away to college. And I am hoping that even during this time, you can experience all that God has for you. And I give that back to you. You continue to walk through those open doors. You remain humble, and the favor of God will stay with you. And so I thank you. We'll be right back with Richard Blackwell and his special guest.
Welcome back to View from the 302. I'm Richard Blackwell, and with me is Dr. Charlette Fletcher of First Choice Chiropractic in Newcastle, Delaware. Dr. Fletcher, welcome to View from the 302.
Thank you for having me, Richard. It's a pleasure.
I'm so glad to have you here. And before we get started, Dr. Fletcher, got to ask, how's your family doing while this pandemic is happening? Is everybody doing okay?
Everyone is doing great.
Good.
Everyone's in great health and great spirits. We have a lot of energy. We talk to each other all the time, and we see each other a lot. So we're doing good. Yeah.
Good. And I pray that you and your family continue with good health.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, Dr. Fletcher, where is your practice, First Choice Chiropractic? Where is your office located?
Oh, thank you for asking that. I did want to give an update. 2 to 3 years ago, we moved to 19 Lamson Lane, Suite A in Newcastle, Delaware. So we're no longer in the city of Wilmington, but we're out in Newcastle, not far from the new library on Route 9. And we're located in the Rose Hill Community Center.
Great. Okay. How do you like your new location?
Oh, it's great. There's so many different activities. Every day is a new journey. You know, I go from being in a building where little happened to now there's community activities daily. So yes.
Good.
And some of the activities that they have, like they still have going on, even during this COVID, daily at 1 o'clock. And even for the safety of people that don't want to get out with their mask or things like that, every day at 1 o'clock, they have a drive-through in the parking lot where they give out food. Yes.
And once again, where is that? I may need to come and pick up something.
Yes.
Where is that again?
Yes, definitely. There is 19 Lamson Lane in Newcastle, Delaware.
All right. Now, I got to ask you, Dr. Fletcher, I've known you for many, many years, quite a long time. When did you first become a licensed chiropractor?
I became a licensed chiropractor in 2004, I believe. Yes. So I've been practicing for quite a long time.
What inspired you to be a chiropractor? Is this something that you thought about since you were little and decided to do it? When did it hit you to become a chiropractor?
So the idea for being a chiropractor did not start as a child. As a
Okay.
child, I thought I was going to always work with kids. I thought I was going to be a pediatrician. I always knew that I was going to be in the healthcare field in some type of way. Initially, I thought I was going to go into research and come up with different drugs or things to help different types of cancer patients for kids and different issues. Then I just was like, I did the research, I did a shadowing program, and I didn't like it. And I was like, I don't want to be stuck in the lab. I want to be hands-on. I'm always the type of a hands-on person. But it changed even before that. Let's back up. My mother always was battling a condition, and this condition never had any cure. There was nothing that they could do for her. It was kind of like they would give her drugs and then give her other drugs to treat the symptoms that that drug would leave. So I started researching early on, like, what can we do naturally to help her get out of pain? Because my mom didn't like taking medications. She didn't even really like going to the doctors. She was trying to look into she wanted to do things the natural way. So then that's when I started looking into holistic practices and what things that we could do to treat the body naturally without the uses of medications and drugs. So in high school, I was doing like the Project Seed programs and doing research at the same time. And then I was also volunteering. I was doing so many different things. I was volunteering at the same time. I started shadowing different chiropractors and acupuncturists and naturopaths, different people in that natural realm. And I came across chiropractic, and I felt like this was something that my parents would be open to trying and doing. And I saw the benefits of chiropractic. And after that, it was a no-brainer. I'm going to be a chiropractor so I can help my mom. That's how it all started. And in addition to doing the chiropractic education, I did the certification for acupuncture. So I was like, these two are definitely going to help her. So that was one of the ways that I said that I wanted to, why I wanted to get into chiropractic and to help my mom.
You know, that's an awfully beautiful story. And especially with you always having a desire to want to help someone, to want to be there when they are in need any way possible. So I commend you for that, Dr. Fletcher. I commend you for that. You're welcome. Now, what is the process with becoming a chiropractor? And when I say the process, what is the educational process? How long does it take typically to become a good chiropractor?
So chiropractors initially start with undergraduate school. In undergraduate school, you can major in different professions. I major in biology, but you do have to have certain courses to continue and be accepted into the medical program, into the chiropractic program. But having a biology major as undergrad, that's typically where you start. So you start with 4 years. After that, you attend chiropractic school. Chiropractic school is another 4 years. During those 4 years, you also do internships, x-ray rotation, clinical rotation. So basically 8 years, you can become a licensed chiropractor.
Now, are you from Delaware?
Yes.
Is Delaware, you are? And
Born
if you don't mind,
raised in little old Delaware.
And if you don't mind telling us, Dr. Fletcher, where did you attend school? Where did you go for your undergraduate?
Okay. So in high school, I started at John Dickinson High School in Delaware. Then I went to Tuskegee University, the pride of the Swiss growing South, in Tuskegee, Alabama.
Okay.
Then I went directly to Life University in Marietta, Georgia. Life at that time had some accreditation issues, but that was quickly resolved. but I didn't feel like waiting. So I transferred to Texas Chiropractic College, where I finished my chiropractic degree.
Now, after you get your degree, typically, and let's use what your path specifically. After you got your degree, what did you do? How long was it before you were able to begin your own practice? Did you work at several other offices before starting your own?
After graduation, I was fortunate that I worked directly with another chiropractor. So I went to work immediately. I worked for him and ran two of his offices for about about 5 years initially.
Okay.
And then I branched off and did one of his office for another 2, I believe. So I worked for him, and then after then, that office closed. So then I started looking for other jobs. So I was always a coverage doctor, so I would cover other people's offices.
Okay, so going here and there.
Yes, going here and there. And then in 2009, I started my own office because I could not find an office that was me, that went with the principles that I believe that each patient needs the care and attention that they need. So I opened up my own office in 2009.
And I know you were very proud, as well as your family were very proud of that moment when you opened up. And was that the beginning of First Choice Chiropractic?
Yes, that was the beginning of First Choice Chiropractic in 2009.
Wow. What a great moment for you.
Yes.
Now, let me ask you, Dr. Fletcher, as a chiropractor, what type of health issues are you able to handle? Or what would be your specialty? Or how do you get people back to the men?
So chiropractic works with a vast majority of different cases. So we focus on the musculoskeletal system mainly, and we focus on balancing the nervous system to get your nervous system functioning at 100%. When that happens, when your body is functioning at 100%, you can be cured of so many different things. So I don't want to limit it to what you can have. It can improve so many different things that people are diagnosed with on a daily basis. In my office, I kind of specialize in wellness patients. So I see a lot of wellness patients, and I see a lot of equestrians, so horse riders. So on a daily basis, yes, because and a lot of people that compete competitively. So a lot of sports athletes that are trying to stay on top of their game. That's normally the type of clients that I see.
Oh, that's interesting. So would that be considered your specialty, sports chiropractic, or is that what it would be considered?
Yes, sports chiropractic.
Oh, okay, good. Now, and it's interesting that so many people who are competing sustain so many various injuries, whether it's the back or the neck or the shoulders, or no matter what it is, they can count on Dr. Fletcher and straightening them up and getting them back into the game.
Yes, they definitely can. They definitely can. Matter of fact, after this interview today, I will be going to a track meet to take care of some of my clients.
Now, I know it's got to make you feel good when someone comes to you and they're in a bad way with their body. And I know it gives you a lot of gratification when you can help get them back up and walking upright and back into the game, competing the way they really want to. I know that's got to give you a lot of satisfaction.
Exactly. Especially when you see patients come in and they have been in pain for so long, or they've been told that this condition is going to stop them from competing in their sport or activity. When different clients or sports athletes are told that they can't run anymore, or they can't play baseball anymore, or they can't jump anymore, but they love the sport and they're not ready to give it up. And then they see with the time, the patients following their exercises and the stretches that they're giving, that they're able to return back to the activities. That's great. You know, we see the pro athletes return back all the time, but they have a whole team of experts, you know, keeping them at 100%. Why can't the average person stay at 100%?
And, you know, I'm sure that after you work with a person to get their body feeling back to somewhat normal feeling, there's follow-ups that have to be done to keep the person in the game.
Yes, there's definitely follow-ups. There's no magic pill to anything in life. There's no diet plan that's going to get you flat abs in a night or a day. But there's treatment plans that you have to do to get to where you need to be. Yes.
Well, you know, Dr. Fletcher, I got to tell our audience is that I met you when I first moved to Delaware in 2009.
Yes.
And I was in a bad way. Audience, I can't begin to tell you how bad I was. I had problems with my nerve being stuck between my C6, my C7. It had affected my entire left side. And folks, I was in need of a chiropractor like crazy. And I happened to be at a church event in Wilmington, Delaware, and they had vendors. Now, me being from Los Angeles, I never heard of vendors in a church, but it was just that type of event where vendors were on hand. And I'm sitting there in a sling, wishing I had a chiropractor. And honest to goodness, who stepped into the room? And do you remember what you said, Dr. Fletcher?
I don't even remember what I said.
I remember what you said verbatim. Does anyone here need a chiropractor? Hallelujah. Right here. I mean, so I went and saw you, and with me just moving, I had just moved to Wilmington. I've only been here 2 weeks. I actually came from Los Angeles to Delaware with that pain and being stricken with that nerve situation. And I came and saw you, and I said, man, I need a chiropractor. Is there anything you can do for me? Yeah. And Dr. Fletcher, you were a true blessing to me. I mean, I was in bad way. Was I not?
You were some type of way.
Yeah, I was in a bad way. And the first thing you did, I remember, you took the sling off. And you said, you don't need this to begin with. And secondly, ladies and gentlemen, I must have visited Dr. Fletcher for about 4 months.
Yeah.
3 times a week. And I'm telling you, Dr. Fletcher got my body right. I was ready to go bowling, whatever it took. I was ready to play baseball. I was ready to resume my normal activities. And it was all thanks, of course, to God placing you in my path, and then you having the ability and the skills to do what you did. I'm telling you, I'm still grateful. And that's been over 10 years.
Yes, it has. I can say that I have been one of the fortunate people to meet you when you first came to Delaware.
That's right. And that was a true blessing, Dr. Fletcher. And I thank God that our friendship is still as close as ever. And I know that I can call on Dr. Fletcher whenever I need my body to be tightened up.
Yes, you can.
Or loosened up, whatever the case is.
I got you. I know what you mean.
Dr. Fletcher, now, you know, with the pandemic going on, you know, Dr. Fletcher, I hope you don't mind me saying this, but you are actually now an essential worker.
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
during the it's something that's needed. And during the pandemic, we were open. I was open. I did limit the amount of people I saw during that time, but we were still open throughout the pandemic because chiropractic is essential. There are so many people that cannot function without chiropractic, and you want to keep your body healthy during this time.
Right. Well, I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Fletcher, for being such an important, essential worker to so many people. And I know they appreciate the job that you are doing. And I just want to tell you, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, you're welcome. Now, before we go, Dr. Fletcher, please give the address of your location. Where can somebody locate First Choice Chiropractic?
Again, First Choice Chiropractic is located in Rose Hill Community Center. That address is 19 Lamson Lane, A109, in Newcastle, Delaware, 19720.
And do you have a website? I know you do. Do you mind giving your website information?
Sure. You can find me on Facebook at First Choice Chiropractic, or you can follow me on my website, and the website is choicechiropractic.com.
All right. Dr. Fletcher, it is so good to see you. You know, I have nothing but love for you, your family, everyone. And I'm just so thankful that everyone is doing well during this pandemic. And I don't know, I may have to schedule to come and see you soon.
Yes. And tell your beautiful wife I said hello.
I will, and tell your wonderful husband I said hello. Congratulations once again on your nuptials, what happened last year. Has it been a year yet?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So on Facebook today, I got a notification that my bridal shower was today.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh my goodness, this time is flying.
And you know, I was just so privileged and honored to be a part of your wedding. So
I could not have done it without you. I still have so many people talking about that voice.
Yeah, right. Dr. Fletcher, thank you so much. It's good seeing you. And then I just pray that you continue to be blessed in everything that you do. And stay safe, okay?
Thank you. You too.
Thank you too. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Patricia and I will be right back with more of View from the 302. Thank you, Dr. Fletcher. God bless.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Welcome back, everyone, to View from the 302. I'm Richard Blackwell.
And I am Patricia D. Harris.
And you know, Patricia, everyone is asking, when will Delaware be able to go into phase 3?
Yes, I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, everyone is about ready. But you know, unfortunately, at this date, Delaware has registered 14,290 cases. And it's so sad to report, ladies and gentlemen, along with 579 deaths.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the numbers seem like they just keep climbing.
Yes, that's correct. So it's going to be pretty difficult going into phase 3. Primarily, to move into phase 3, Delaware needs to have no evidence of a rebound and satisfy the 14-day criteria for a third time.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
once we do hit phase 3, vulnerable individuals can resume going out in public, but should still practice physical distancing. We know about that.
Yes, we do.
Visits to senior care centers and hospitals can also resume, though those who interact with residents and patients must remain diligent about following good hygiene, including washing your hands frequently. Meanwhile, low-risk populations should consider minimizing time spent in crowded environments. Now, work-wise, employers could resume unrestricted staffing of work sites if we go back into phase 3.
Yeah. And I know many of us are looking forward, to phase 3 and on and upward, but as you already said, with the numbers climbing, it's going to be pretty difficult for us to get there.
Yes.
So, last month, Governor Carney said Delaware will continue to focus on the vulnerable populations in nursing homes and target the hot spots that emerge, including Sussex County immigrants. That population, the numbers have increased in recent days.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Once we do start with phase 3, Richard, it's going to be very different for folks in terms of the way that we conduct our daily lives. I mean, we've already experienced that, right? Life is not the way it was prior to March.
That's correct.
And so our daily lives will potentially include wearing masks, continue with social distancing, avoiding large gatherings. And because of the virus, we will be present until we have a vaccine or effective treatment. And we know that they've been testing several vaccines, and I'm not sure how close they are to finding one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We must focus on flattening the curve so our message still remains. So I say that again, we must focus on flattening the curve so our message still remains to stay safe.
Right.
Practice basic hygiene, protect your family, and look after our seniors. We cannot forget about our seniors.
That's correct too.
As life in Delaware continues to evolve.
Yeah, we keep that in prayer. And
Yes.
speaking of keeping things in prayer, they're talking about reopening the schools here in Delaware. And we just have to keep vigilant and be diligent about everything we do.
Yes.
In regards to opening the schools, the state says that it has 3 different scenarios regarding reopening the schools. And of course, the scenarios are based on how widespread the virus is at that time. Now, the first scenario is that there is minimal community spread of the virus in Delaware. Okay. School buildings will be able to reopen. The second scenario is if there are moderate levels of community spread, schools will have a hybrid model that incorporates both in-person and remote learning. That's pretty interesting.
It is.
And the third scenario is if there is significant community spread of the virus, school buildings will remain closed. And a lot of parents, a lot of parents are on the fence because they just don't know what the right answer is.
Yeah. It's do we keep them out? And for those that work, that's trying to find that balance is pretty difficult.
It is so true.
Yes. And Richard, if our buildings are able to open, both students and staff will have to follow strict safety guidelines. We know that, right? While in the building. And I know a lot of schools and staff, they're trying to figure that out right now. All children's grades 4 and up will be required to wear face coverings. This is all day long while they're in class. except if a student can't for health reasons.
That's correct.
Masks will also be strongly encouraged for students in 3rd grade and younger.
That's
You
very
know,
interesting.
it is. It really is. I have, we have grandchildren, and one of our grandsons, I put the mask on and he's like, Layla, what is that?
Right.
Like he wants to see my mouth, Staff will be required to wear masks all the time.
Mhm.
Social distancing guidelines should be followed. We have to follow those. And desks must be at a minimum 3 feet apart while students are wearing masks. Additionally, all desks should be facing the same direction.
Now
So
that point that's pretty
Yeah.
interesting as
Yeah.
well. But whatever needs to be done at this
Right.
particular phase, that's what
Yeah.
has to be done. And talk about the students, what they're going to have to do. Students will also have to be kept in stable groups throughout the day. Now, both students and staff will also be asked to complete a health assessment
Yes.
before going to school every day. Now, another interesting point that people are concerned about is the cleaning of the school. How safe is the building?
Right.
And when it comes to cleaning, schools must have high-touch surfaces. That means surfaces that are touched more frequently than others, such
Right.
as railings, doorknobs, and bathrooms. They must be cleaned every 15 minutes and, between every 15 minutes and 2 hours on a daily basis.
Wow. Life is definitely different, right?
Yes, it is. It's a lot of work, Patricia.
It is. It is. Now, Stephanie Ingram, the president of Delaware State Education Association, says safety is her biggest concern, and making sure that they have the products they need to continue to keep the room clean, soap for hand washing, along with sanitizer. She also said if it was up to her, all schools would start the year remotely. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of schools are looking at it. It looks like the start date keeps getting pushed further and further out.
I agree. I concur
And so,
with that.
yeah. And so she thinks that this would be a good idea to give teachers time to acclimate themselves to what it's going to look like before returning to the classroom.
And Patricia, that is so true. And I think that would be so smart of our state to approach it from that scenario. Let's take a look at it from remotely and then incorporate in class and as it becomes more safe for the student staff. And Governor Carney said he will announce this month whether or not schools will start the year in person. And the governor, indicated that the day the school buildings were closed, the goal has been to return the students and educators to their classrooms as soon as it is safe to do so.
Yeah.
So Delaware still has a lot of work ahead of it. In a lot of ways, I think that we're thankful that we are a small state in comparison to some of the other states here in our country. Delaware has a lot ahead of it to do, but thank goodness that we're more confined.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree. And we just got to do what we have to do.
Yeah, and keep praying.
Right. Pray without ceasing. Yes.
That's it. Just keep praying.
Yeah.
Practice social distancing, wash your hands, and keep praying.
Keep praying.
Well, Patricia, that just about does it for the August edition of View from the 302.
Yes, it does. And I would like to thank my special guest, Madison Washington, for being with us today.
And I would like to thank my guest, Dr. Charlette Fletcher of First Choice Chiropractic, for being with us today as well. And for all of you Delaware sports fans, we're hoping to have our sports director, Mr. Dan Rosenfield, back as soon as Delaware sports returns to our first stage.
Yes. And thank you everyone for watching, and be sure to join us on Wednesday, September the 2nd, for the next View from 302. I am Patricia Harris.
And I'm Richard Blackwell. Stay safe and God bless.
God bless.